A lot of excitement tonight, but I guess some allegations too.
Yeah, there have been more allegations flying at the Super Bowl than there will be footballs in the air on Sunday. And the biggest news from Super Bowl week in New Orleans has come from Washington, D.C., where a TV report yesterday claimed the NFL's drug policy is racially biased, that while black players were being suspended, some white players using drugs went unpunished. Today, the commissioner just said no.
It's absolute, utter nonsense. Dexter Manley, who played under the nose of that television station, admitted after I suspended him for a positive drug test that he was wrong in the sense that he had slipped and the league's test results were right. So at least they could give us the credit for one correct test in 10 years.
Now the drug accusations won't affect Sunday's game. The Niners and Broncos will kick it off at 5. Right here on Wing. Well, down under tonight, Steffi Graf won the first Grand Slam tennis event of the 90s, the Australian Open. She fell behind 4-1 in the second set to Miami teenager Mary Jo Fernandez, but came roaring back to win the second set. The final, 6-3, 6-4. Steffi has won 8 of the last 9 Grand Slam events. Well, a couple of NBA heavyweights combined for 68 points tonight in Philadelphia. Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan brought out all the heavyweights, or maybe it was cheesesteak night at the Spectrum. I don't know. Sixers and Bulls, first quarter. Here, Charles makes the steal, gets the layup, and the foul at the other end. Barkley had 37 points. You know who had 31 for the Bulls? 2 here off the alley-oop from Craig Hodges, but the Sixers won out, 120-109 tonight. Well, the Sun Sox snatched defeat from the jaws of victory tonight. Facing the Tropics at Terry Park, the Sox needed a win to move closer to the playoffs, and they were leading 1-0 in the ninth when Ron Washington dropped this bunt down the third baseline. Ron Jackson's throw got away from Tim Ireland. Jerry White scored. Mike Easler came around to score too, and then after Ireland had retrieved the ball, his throw to third went wild, and Washington came in to score. Heartbreak City for the Sox. They lose it 3-1 to West Palm tonight. And one of baseball's Hall of Fame class of 1990 says it'll be a few years before it really sinks in that he's one of the greats of the game. Earlier this evening, I spoke with former Orioles pitcher Jim Palmer, who joins the Hall this summer. Jim, first, congratulations on making the Hall of Fame. Is that the kind of thing that means a lot now, but maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 years later down the road when you start going back to Cooperstown in later years, it will mean even more to you?
You're in the Hall of Fame, too, because I mean, that's exactly what Brooks Robinson said. He said he never really got in touch with how special it is until 6 years later. He went back 5 years last year after his induction, and you know, the first year you're worried about taking care of your family, the speech, being nervous and all those things. But he said when he sat around with some of the old Hall of Famers, that's when it really it became special to him. I mean, not that it wasn't special before, but it took on even a greater importance, I think. I think the proudest thing that I'm I guess aware of in my career was the innings I pitched and whatever, the consistency, but also being part of the great Oriole tradition from, you know, the middle 60s to the middle 80s.
And on those teams, of course, led by Earl Weaver. You and Earl went back and forth over the years. But when you made the Hall of Fame and I talked to him, he said you were a Hall of Fame person from the moment you got to the major leagues, and he had no doubt that you were going to make it. So you and Earl have kind of
Well, he said that, of course, because I listened to everything he said. And no, Earl, one of the reasons that I'm in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he pushed me out there. He used to come out to the mound, he said, don't look in the bullpen. He said, there's nobody better out there.
With ABC having lost baseball, no more Monday Night Baseball, you're going to continue to be the voice of the Orioles?
The last couple of years broadcasting, working with Al Michaels and Tim McCarver at ABC was really something special. And I guess in a perfect world, we'd have a chance to do that the rest of our lives. But this is an imperfect world. That's why they're going to have a lockout and possibly a strike. So you look for other work, and you know, I wish Tim well. He'll do a nice job with CBS.
Of course, the jockey ads will always be there, strike or no, right?
Well, I don't know about that. You know, I'm getting up long of tooth, I guess, is probably a way to say it. But I've had a nice relationship with them, and I have another couple of years. I do ads, but I don't do as many. No, I pride myself in trying to not look the same as I did in 1977, but looking fairly close.
Yeah, Marisa was upset. He was fully clothed tonight.
Yeah, I have to explain that. Yeah, still to come, a singing star.